unless Team Orbit can bring out a heavy hitter, they might be in trouble.
So in case you guys aren't exactly familiar with the format, this is a King of the Hill format team league. So basically how it is each team sends out a player, and if that player wins, they continue in to play the next player that the other team puts out. So if a player continues to beat every player that the other team sends into the fray, they could kill every single one of them. And there's actually an achievement for that in this league. You get entered in for a pretty sweet prize.
Yeah, well, it's pretty impressive if you're able to take out an entire team by yourself.
There have been a couple all kills. I'm just getting the other game set up, and I think we're going to be good to go here.
In the meantime, from Team Orbit, we just saw Adrenaline. If you liked his play and would like to see some more of him, his Twitch TV channel is twitch.tv/AdrenalineTV1.
Also, just for those of you that have joined us since we started, it's like our viewership is about doubled. This is the StarCraft 2 Community Team League. Was organized in place of several other similar leagues that maybe haven't been as involved as the organizer had hoped. The focus on this is definitely with the community, so as we're here, we're part of the StarCraft community. We're trying everything we can to involve everyone as much as possible, so do go out and give a like to the, if you have the Twitters, the SC2CTL. Actually, it's a follow on Twitter, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it
Twitter
is.
account. Also follow myself and Galligation if you want to stay up on all of our casts. We're going to be casting Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the duration.
That's correct. And big thanks to DOS Keyboard, the sponsors of the tournament, of making it happen and donating 5 keyboards to the winning team.
That is indeed DOS Keyboard. It's nice to see that corporate sponsors have recognized the power that the eSports community has. It's really something that's coming out, so it's awesome to have that. So go out and support DOS Keyboard for supporting us. I think we're ready to jump into this game if you're ready.
I sure am.
All the semantics are out of the way, so let's get started.
Game resumed.
In the top right corner.
Top left corner.
You told me that I do that. I don't know why. I was actually looking at the other part of the map. So we'll just say the top left corner for safety's sake is our Terran player. He's won 2 in a row for Pulse Esports. His name is Mumming.
And in the bottom right, from Team Orbit, can he defeat the 2-0'd Mumming looking so strong in those first 2 games? In the teal trunks, it is Chaser.
He's chasing a win, let me tell you.
Wah, wah.
So it looks like there's going to be another TVZ. It seemed like that last game really was that swarm style. Is against Terran, you don't see as many Mutalisks. What do you think that the reason with that would be?
Well, occasionally you see the Mutalisks as a defensive unit against Terran. It holds off those drops, but you can't really do a lot of offense with them because the Marines are just kind of everywhere. They can stem to get underneath you, and they can build those turrets and repair them, so there's not a lot. Unless you have a huge number of Mutalisks, they're not going to be able to do a lot of economic damage before taking heavy hits, and they're very gas heavy.
That is true, and I'm a Protoss player, so I see Mutalisks almost every game. It seems like, but as the metagame evolves, how do you see mines working into that a lot, especially early game?
Mines have been used to thwart Mutalisks. They've been used as offense as well. They're similar to tanks in their offense capability. I've heard them called the Creep Tumor 2.0 before, so if you can put them in constant attack paths from the Mutalisks, then that's going to hurt a lot. But you're right, you don't see Mutalisks quite as often as you used to in the ZVT.
Looks like we're going to have a Marine coming out for Mumming and a spawning pool coming out for Chaser after his expand. This looks like he's going to be doing a similar play as his predecessor. It looks like Webnut in chat is noticing that you have some red cheeks there. It's just because your love for StarCraft is just so overwhelming, right?
It overwhelms. My blood flows like you would not believe, and straight into my cheeks, which apparently are transparent, allowing you to see the color underneath. That is one of my many charming features, as I articulated in chat. So You will be seeing many red cheeks should you choose to join us.
Tom
All
does
of them on my face, I swear.
Tom does acknowledge your overwhelming charmingness.
Thanks, Tom's over Baghdad.
So it looks like it's going to be a pretty calm opening. Again, that Overlord is trying to get some scout, and Mumming is just spreading those Marines out, trying to get
Sandwiching
him down. I dare say that he's going to get it, but I'm gonna guess that he's not going to get it this time. But
There is a decent amount of room for him to kind of hide that Overlord, and Mumming decides it's not worth hanging around for. He's going to go back to the front.
Gets out with 48 HP this time, as opposed to much less last time. Reactor coming down on the barracks, while a Hellion is being produced out of the factory. Looks like it's actually very similar out of Mumming. He knows what works and is going to stick with that.
Speed coming down for the Lings. Try and do the Startail life play of countering Hellions with Speedlings.
It is amazing how that works. Blizzard apparently hasn't got the memo about that. In the counter screen in the menus for Hellions should just be Life's portrait. Zerg definitely is not going for much gas this game. He's taken his drones out, although he did catch an extra 8. That's probably going to be a huge metagame factor later. That extra 8 gas is just going to swell right up. Mumming now moving out to secure a bunker at the front. Looks like he's going to be getting ready for an expand as that command center gets close to finishing. I would suspect that Chaser, given the passivity so far, is going to be looking at putting up a third on that left side. Putting out a lot of creep tumors, though. That was one thing I definitely missed last game. Zerg did not spread the creep nearly as much as would have been advantageous for him, I thought.
Oh, I agree. I think he tried, but he lost that creep tumor to a tank shot, and he didn't have the minerals to make more queens, and didn't have the energy on his queens to really get him out there and do more creep spread.
It's like Hellions
as you can see,
across the map here now for Mumming to see what he can see, as some Lings are also swinging in, but there are Marines in that bunker. It's like 1, 2, at least 3 or 4 Zerglings going to be taken down, but that bunker does not have any support to repair, so it is eventually going to fall if that Ling can get it. Oh, and he does finally with the cleanup with the other Lings coming back. So Mumming is going to have to retreat back into his base, put up that supply depot. It's like he had to put a supply drop on that. That's going to be...
In the meantime, 3 Hellions are moving into the natural. They did deny a third from Chaser. Lings are coming out to try and deal with it. There are 2 queens out there, and those Hellions are not going to have a good day unless they get off that creep.
One Hellion did nearly escape with its life.
1 did fall.
Lings coming around. If they would have come back around the opposite way, they would have been able to run around that Hellion, but it looks like the base is being queued back up. Lings coming up to pick off the rest of those Hellions, get the nice surround.
1 goes down, the second one's going to drop.
We'll say see you later.
Banshee is out from Mumming now, and I don't think that Chaser knows about it, as there is no anti-air or detection.
Well, he knows about it now.
He does know about it now.
He's got his supply depot down. Hopefully he puts that up, and he's got... Oh, that was an unfortunate accident. Put that supply depot up just as his SCVs were trying to come out to rally to that natural expansion, and they all are having a little huddle party with those mines in the corner. Lings retreat. The Banshee's just too much, and the SCVs can go on their merry way to do their job.
We do see 4 Spore Crawlers going down, so that Banshee isn't going to be very good on the economic damage front, but should still be very useful in other engagements.
Chaser is putting down his melee upgrades, starting melee and armor at the same time, as well as getting an extra queen and more drones. Looks like he's taking a break from the Ling production. Keeping the energy on his queens nice and low. He's definitely on top of his injects.
And as if to make Wingnut eat his words, a Spire is going down.
All right. That's what I like to do, is eat my words. Just see. As everyone knows, I'm sure this game is casted from replays. It's not live, but in the essence of keeping everything awesome, we do not watch the replays ahead of time, so we are just as surprised as you are. Those Lings.
2 Banshees are moving in, and the Spore Crawler's repositioning to try and get some leverage over those, but the queen does fall.
Looks like those Banshees are going to use their range to work on that hatchery for a bit till these other queens come up. And they are going to repel those Banshees, at least for now. But it does look like that more Banshees are being produced from Mumming, so he's hoping to really do some do some work on these guys, but that's going to keep Chaser busy for a while because he's going to have to produce 4 crawlers and queens to keep a handle on this. As we've seen in the previous game, Mumming does really like the spread offense, as I'll call it for a football term. So I expect to see these Banshees eventually split up into a couple groups to poke a couple places at once. Looks like a command center is going down for Mumming. He'll eventually be taking a third. That is an advantage. How do you think that advantage plays for Terran versus Zerg? Or when you're playing, how do you deal with it when you see Terran building all these command centers in their base? Because not only if they don't send them out right away, I've seen in some matches too that if they tend to lose a lot of drones or SCVs early, they can use those command centers to rebuild those rather quickly.
Oh, absolutely. You just drop a bunch of mules and you're good to go. The thing about building a lot of economic units is that you cannot usually build as many army units. So these Mutalisks may come into play here and do a lot of damage, especially if you can catch Mumming off guard.
A lot of drones being killed by those Hellions down at Chaser's third. The Mutas do come in to help clean that up, but he did lose a ton of drones. It's going to be 10 total. 3 more Banshees coming across midfield, checking the towers. Looks like was their mission to make sure that the vision is kept to a minimum of Chaser.
And Mumming did see those Mutalisks, so he is putting down missile turrets like it is his job, repositioning mines.
It is his job. Too bad missile turrets don't do an extra 80 million damage to bio, right?
Yeah, they need to do that.
These Banshees are on patrol in the center. They just want to make sure that Chaser keeps the vision down so that when Mumming moves out, he does not see that. But it looks like one of those mutas is going to put a stop to that. Overlord Puke and Creep on the far third in the upper right corner of Mumming so that he won't be able to expand to there. But it looks like Mumming is perfectly happy to rally SCVs to his natural and use that orbital command for mules. Hatch is queued up at the 4th base for Chaser, but the Banshees are sitting right over it, so it's highly unlikely that that will get down, as there's no detection nearby to deal with that. Muta's flying right past those cloaked Banshees. One of those Banshees goes down, the other one is extremely low life. One Spore Crawler shot takes that out. Everyone's kind of in a holding pattern now, it looks like that. Overlord was dealt with, and the Creep is going to recede. He's got some units there to protect that. He's going to take his 3rd base. Chaser, likewise, is going to be taking his 4th. Doing a nice job of spreading the Creep around, getting it up towards the middle of the map. Also taking a 5th base on the left side is Chaser. One thing we've seen out of our Zerg buddies is that they have been really going heavy on the expand. Oh, those Mutas are taking heavy damage from those turrets.
Mines and missile turrets and...
Looks like he found a hole in the defenses, though. He's going to come in and poke away at some add-ons. Try and take out that Tech Lab. Marine's going to stim up to try and deal with that. He's going to turn back just to take that out, and he's happy with that for now. Chaser moving his lings back to get rid of the little pest near his 4th base. I'm not sure.
Oh, Muta's flying right over a mine. It goes off and, oh! Kills 1, deals heavy damage to 3 more.
It's okay. They regenerate.
They do regenerate. Another mine goes off, killing a bunch of lings.
One thing I was curious about is what bases Mumming knows about, and he knows about every single one of them. So as opposed to the last game, Mumming is in the know about what his opponent is doing as far as expansions. Oh, another mine goes off, takes some big damage on those mutas. Doesn't kill any, though.
Chaser's having a really hard time dealing with these mines. He does not really have any detection. There's only one Overseer on the map, and it is kind of being idle, although it is moving a little bit. Looks like it's rallying with those Mutalisks.
Banelings on the field now with speed, so those will be moving right up along with their fast Zergling counterparts. Looks like Mumming is trying to wall off at his 3rd base, but if those Banelings come up that way, that will not last all that long. Muta's moving in the left side, now taking a cut to the right to do the same thing that Mumming was doing earlier, make sure he still keeps all that vision on those towers. Chaser really doing a better job of getting map control. That was one thing that Adrenaline lacked last game, is from mid-game on, he really didn't have that map control.
Mumming's playing similarly, though, in terms of just hanging back and being defensive, letting Zerg come to him, taking the bases when he wants them very safely, and protecting them so that if
Nice
Zerg
mine
wants to come
shot
in,
on the left
Is-
there, not to interrupt you, but I'm going to.
not at all.
Nice
Yeah.
mine shot on the left there that took out a nice batch of lings. Mumming does have mines spread literally everywhere. Literally. Webnut, I do see your comment there, and we'll take that into consideration. Do appreciate that. Any comments or suggestions are welcome. We totally redid the in-game overlay after last game based on comments and suggestions last time, so we definitely take those to heart. Thanks for that. Looks like Chaser's just going to be taking a little break in the center to get things together. He's got his mutas, his lings. Looks like he's setting up his control groups based on the dotted lines around his units sporadically.
We do see Ultraless Cavern going down, getting more upgrades. Zerg Attack level 3, we see the Adrenal Glands coming down and Pathogen Glands coming down, so it looks like we'll be seeing some Infestors.
Mumming mobilizing in a big way. All those mines are, and it's going to be huge Zergling deaths, but it's going to be continually pushing Mumming back. That was a lot of lings that got busted up by those mines there.
And Mumming's just baiting him right over those mines.
Mumming didn't take a whole lot of losses on that, but there were definitely a lot of lings that were lost. But Chaser was at max before that engagement, and Mumming is getting close, so I'm curious now what Chaser decides to replenish that with. He has got the all the upgrades coming down, like chitinous plating, and even has melee attack level 3.
Mm-hmm. Zerg Attack Flyer Attack level 3 is also being researched now.
He's definitely been up on the upgrades. Not very often do you see the Mutalisk attack or the air attack level 3 come down along with ground attack level 3. Usually it's one or the other from what I've seen. He's really wanting these mutas to be involved in his main big engagement that he eventually is.
Mm-hmm. If you look at the units lost tab, Chaser really isn't all that far behind in terms of resources lost. It's only about 1,000, 1,200 difference. Lings moving in and just getting annihilated. It looks like those are more intended to scout than anything. They are going to get some mule kills back here, though.
Mumming is now max, so what he has is what he has. Looks like moving out here to position themselves. That's a huge batch of mines, so Mumming's definitely got something in mind for those.
Muta's moving in on the left. Looks like they're going to try and take some of the main down in encountering that missile turret. Going to kill it before they take any losses. The second one is attacking. Again, killing it without any losses.
Mumming was moving his units towards the right there, but ended up encountering the Zerg army. He gets those mines broed. Oh, nice.
One connection.
One nice connection. He did get out just in time, because that would have spelled doom for almost every
That
play.
would have ruined his day.
Certainly would have. It would have been fun to see, but...
Oh, absolutely. Those medevacs doing their jobs.
Looks like both players are accumulating quite the bank now as they're both staying near max. It seems like Chaser is intentionally hanging at around that 185 food mark because he definitely has the money to build things, but he's been holding off. Mumming wanting to make an issue of this, using a lot of APM here to spread his mines out in a big way. That is going to just be a mess if Chaser decides to chase him along that. I'm not sure if he saw those mines or not, but it looks like he didn't. They're just out of his range. So when he pokes up here, it's going to be quite the bloody explosion.
But he does have those overseers, so he is going to know that they're there. Able to take 2 out. The overseers are taking a lot of damage, though.
Mumming was able to get that 5th base down on the left side of Chaser, but the Lings do surround the main army and take that out, but he still has this clutch group of special forces on the left that are going to probably get surrounded here if he doesn't do something about it. Oh, that surround. The Banelings are coming in, and is he going to get the connections? He does, and cleans up that entire group. Mumming does not get anything out of there. So that
Mutas have also been active. They've been able to take down the 4th base that Mumming was trying to put up during that engagement, and they're running back in trying to get some more damage done. They will be intercepting those medevacs, and he is not going to be getting those. Oh, he's boosting them, and the army's coming up to try and help out.
Oh, he does get both of the medevacs.
Oh, huge losses in the Mutalisks, though.
That one medevac was left with only a sliver of health, 4 HP left. Mutas are just gonna take a reprieve to heal themselves up in between the 2nd and 3rd. Mumming has been kept out of expanding now for quite a while Zerg he's lost a base, but he has been ahead by 2 bases for quite a while now as the Mutalisks come back in to stop that refinery from being built. Take out a couple SCVs, just do a little poking, it looks like, not making a huge issue of it.
We do see Greater Spire going down for Chaser now, and Pathogen Glands is finished. We haven't seen any Infestors yet, but could he be going for the old Wings of Liberty style Broodlord Infestor?
Yeah, it looks like he's just trying to peel back Mumming's forces with that Mutalisk attack so that he could send his main army right up the gut, and that's what he's doing now. His Ultralisks are going to move in. Ling's going to attempt to surround that Bio army. Ultra's doing massive damage to that. He's trying to kite it back. Ultra's having a little bit of an issue trying to get past the main wall there, but they finally do break it down with the Banelings. Baneling's still an issue for Mumming as they come around to try and catch Zerglings, trying to surround the army so that the Banelings can get in there, but the Banelings are just sticking right around the Ultralisks, not being as useful as they could be.
Having a hard time getting around those bulky units.
Mumming trying his best to clean this up, but this small group of units is going to be difficult, especially with the Ultras and Mutalisks. They're taking out one medevac, probably the second one.
Chaser seems to feel like this strategy is working. He's got 8 more Ultralisks in production, decides I'm going to continue to build tech buildings and not use them.
Looks like Chaser losing track of his mutas there. They get sucked into a big group of turrets that ends up taking those out. This last Ultra was trying to be a hero, ends up losing his life.
And more Marines incoming. Those Lings are going to get cleaned up. But in the meantime, we have more Ultralisks rallying together.
Chaser definitely rallied those right into the battle at the last minute, decided he wanted to give pause and try and supplement those with something else. The food counts are surprisingly similar for as many bases as Chaser has, and the bank has been largely depleted also. All those Ultras are so expensive, they can just eat a bank up real fast, but
Oh, absolutely.
he is left with quite a lot of gas. Very, very few minerals, but quite a lot of gas.
Mumming does have 2 Widow Mines outside of the 5th base of Chaser, right in the resupply line, so anything that comes out of there is going to be running right over those mines.
More Banelings and Mutas in production, and Marauders for Mumming. Clears out the Overlord as the creep proceeds so that he can take an expansion. This is going to be a bit of a risky expansion, but he doesn't have much of a choice because his natural...
Ooh, that Overlord that Ultralisk decided to stay back and get hurt.
One of those mines connects largely with the Ultralisk, soaking up a lot of that damage. The first one did hit some Banelings. Those mines that are so spread out are just being a big issue for Chaser, but with those Ultralisks and such meaty units with high armor and high HP, they're soaking up a lot of the damage. He's now really starting to get his creep out into mid-map. Looks like he's being more active with that now. As Mumming does move to the right, he wants to make an issue at Chaser's 4th base. Going to try and take that out. Chaser does not have any units nearby. They're as far away as they possibly can be on the other side.
He's on the other side of the map. We do see Infestors coming out now. Not sure exactly what he's going to use those for. Probably to keep those Marines standing still.
With that stim, those bases do go down quick, but Chaser does a nice split. Even though a mine picks off a few units, he does get a surround there.
And he loads up and, ooh, he's speeding right into the 3rd. Or the main. That's the main, isn't it?
That is the main. That Infestor was caught with his pants down on the left. He was like, ha, I'm going to come get you, but then elevated right into the main.
Great
amazing fungal. Catches everything.
And they keep coming. Whoo! Mumming trying to move out what he can. Another great fungal goes down. All those units are going to eat it. And he did not get anything but medevacs out of there.
No, it's amazing that Infestors are used not quite as much these days, but with the Ultralists and these clutch forces of Mumming, he's obviously doing the same thing this game as he was trying to do last game with those drops, but the Infestors are what's preventing that mostly because he's keeping them locked down until his units can get there and clean it up.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about not seeing Infestors as much in Heart of the Swarm is that you don't expect them as much either.
It's true. There's a couple mines here that aren't going to do a whole lot against these Ultralists, just like a little tickle on the side.
SCVs go to repair the planetary fortress, but they decide it's not worth it and try and get out.
Webnut says, you just killed his entire army. Attack, please. I think that's what he's working on here.
Oh, geez, those Ultralisks have broken through the front, but in the meantime, Mumming has wrapped around the backside, effectively trapping these units.
That stim can be nasty if you can get those Ultralisks separated into groups of 1 or 2. You can kite them back and take them out one by one. Looks like Mumming is trying to... Oh, amazing fungal there. It's going to hold those down until the Ultras can get to him. That was pretty beautiful. Mumming trying to still deal with these Ultralisks with this small group of forces he has. Tries to pick
huge
up...
group of mines, but three Lings come over and take a bunch of shots.
Does that pick up micro to try and move them around a little faster with the boots. More mines, more marauders coming out. Small group of marines here. It's gonna not do a whole lot. One
Chaser is really
separated.
Yeah, he's really spreading out these Ultralisks.
Oh, that Ultralist manages to stay alive. Marines tickling the back of this Ultralisk as it works at the barracks. This one.
That Infestor spending its energy as soon as it gets it, plops down a infested Terran just for the hell of it.
Manor infested Terran. So it looks like Mumming does finally clean this up, and he's got a few units here. He's got a nice group of mines, but he's gonna have a tough time with this. Both of the foods are pretty low. I mean, actually looking at the food count, Zerg's food is a whole lot lower than Terran's is. Looking at the units lost, Zerg has lost 8,000 more resources of units than Terran has. So, Chaser not trading as efficiently as Mumming, but Mumming seems to just have a fight in him that will not go away. So many times I've thought he's going to be dead, but then he manages to rally enough units together to do something. These mines doing huge economic damage at this 4th base.
And Mumming is really using those mines like the Creep Tumor 2.0. He's just putting them all over the map, gaining vision, trying to shut down reinforcement paths, trying to shut down economy.
If you look at the units tab, Chaser is left with 51 drones, while Mumming is left with 24 SCVs and 1 mule, so the mining is pretty much equal. I like that setup. I'm not joking, the mining is pretty much equal. There's a tab for that. Both players are mining around 1,000 minerals a minute. 2 loaded up SCVs gonna come in here. That Infestor, what's he gonna? Is he gonna have enough energy? How much energy is he? Yeah, he had enough energy for a fungal, but wouldn't make much difference.
He throws it anyway as soon as it completely unloads its payload, and
another base goes down on the right for Chaser with these drops of Mumming are really what's gonna bring him back in this game, just like the last one. It's really incredible.
Oh yeah, he's really looking good.
GG,
and Chaser,
well played from
GG's.
Chaser. Amazing play from Mumming again. Unbelievable how he can get seemingly behind in these games and then come back with these, I mean, pretty much his entire army split into 3 groups of 10 units and just clean it all up. Really well played by Mumming, really well played. So Mumming is going to continue on to the next match. The next map is going to be Mumming versus Misu. Another TVT. Oh, I'm sorry. Mumming versus Inject Venom. Inject Venom is the captain of Team Orbit, actually. So it looks like Captain's going to be coming out to see if he can deal with the infamous Mumming.
And again, if you enjoyed the play of Chaser, he does have a stream as well. It's twitch.tv/ChaserSC.